But first, wine glasses. It's not just the grape or vineyard which affect the flavor of a great wine. The glass makes a difference too. This factory makes 250,000 of them every day. But before mass production, you have to start with a prototype. Now, you may not pay much attention to the shape, but each glass is scientifically designed to enhance the flavor of the wine it's intended for. For example, there's a bitter agent in red wine called tannin. This only mellows when it comes into contact with air. So to lose some of the harshness, the glass has to have a wide bowl which can let the wine breathe. You should only pour 1/3 of a glass, and then you'll be able to swirl it around to speed things up. It's the other way round for whites. They have subtle aromas which are important to the flavor. These aromas drift away when they make contact with the air. So you need a small, narrow glass to keep the aromas where they belong. A 3D image is modeled on a computer, and then a prototype is made by hand. The blower's got to keep the pipe moving, or the white-hot semi-fluid substance would drop to the floor. The oak mold has been made to the glass designer's exact specifications. The glass is blown in and sets in about 15 seconds. They warm up the bottom of the bowl and then add another blob of glass. That's cut, stretched, and then turned to make the stem. They add a final blob and then press it into a mold to make the base. The prototype is a success, and the design is ready to go into mass production. Over at the factory, handmade processes give way to a high-tech production line. The main ingredient of this glass is quartz sand, which accounts for about 70% of the mix. They drop in some soda to lower the glass's melting point, lime helps to stabilize the compound, and aluminium and titanium make the glass tougher. The mix is lifted up to the melting furnace, where it's joined by pieces of glass that the factory recycle from waste in seconds. At 1500 degrees Celsius, the materials melt and fuse. At this temperature, glass has the consistency of warm chewing gum. 36 hours later, it's carried away in heated tubes, and then squeezed through an opening and cut into portions of 240 grams. The glass is still white hot, about 1200 degrees Celsius. The portions are squashed flat, and then a stream of air from above the center forces them into roughly the right shape for a wine glass bowl. The exact shape of the design is created as it's enclosed in a water-cooled mold. After 5 seconds, the mold opens. The glass has cooled down to 400 degrees, but it's still extremely fragile. Each glass has a temporary lid on top of its bowl which is used to carry it around the factory without getting damaged. The bowl is turned upside down and the bottom is heated with a torch. Then they get their stems and bases. Another blast of fire shapes and polishes the bases. After their baptism of fire, the glasses are given an hour to cool off. A laser lops off the temporary lids. These go off to be melted and start the process again. The sharp edges are smoothed with sandpaper, but are still too rough to be drunk from. The rims are then reheated to 1200 degrees Celsius and get smoothed out in just a few seconds, smooth enough to be touched by lips. After a last check for air bubbles and cracks, the wine glasses are ready to be safely packed and shipped. In this factory, they've turned a traditional craft into a modern production process.